Hey everyone, welcome back to my second video on the channel, and today is an interesting one because it's a longer video for one particular reason, and that's because I ended up finding out that my bowling alley, where I have a season pass, they had 2 hours of free bowling to promote a league, or it was a league event or something like that. So I took on the whole 2 hours and ended up getting about 6.5 games in. And yeah, it was great, but I was exhausted. I I was trying to make the most out of the time to squeeze in 6.5 games. It felt like a lot for me. And yeah, it's interesting with how this session started out because the very first 2 clips, I reverted back to my old ways where my right foot was just kicking out. And thankfully after 2 throws, I was pretty much done with that old habit. And yeah, there's a lot going on here from what I'm observing. And early on, I noticed that my left foot was planting a lot, and so that's something I was trying to work on. You can see it there. My left foot just plants rather than slides, and it continues to point way too far into the right lane. And so that was something I was thinking about, trying to get the slide going on and trying to get that foot to stay stable. But aside from that, there's so much that I'm noticing with my throwing arm. And when I said that I was planning to do the foul line, the 1-step and the 3-step drills, I think I'm going to do that sooner than I initially expected, because you could just see my throwing arm. It's just doing crazy things. What the heck is it? It's doing a weird loop. There's no follow through going on, and so it's just very abrupt endings with the throw. It just throws real quick and then it just drops down super quick. And so I think my next session and onwards, I'm going to devote a couple days to you're going to see a lot of videos of just foul line, 1-step and 3-step drills. Because that right arm, I don't even notice it when I'm reviewing the footage on location. I was paying too much attention to what my feet and my legs were doing and trying to keep balance, and I wasn't sure if I needed to bend my left knee more and get even closer to the ground. And so that was one of the things that was really throwing me off. And because of that, I wasn't able to pay any attention to that right arm. Look at those throws. They are so far from my body. They're way out there. And that's the main reason why I do want to do those foul line and the 1-step drills at the very least, is that I really need to know what my right arm is doing, because I always feel like I know, but I'll just look at this footage and it just looks ridiculous. It's way out there so far. I know my friend pointed it out numerous times, and it's just, my right arm kept on doing what it wants to do. And I think it's because maybe with the timing of the throw, it really comes out there. And I think that's one of the reasons why the foul line release and the 1-step are really going to help out with that timing, and hopefully I can fill in the blanks with the rest of the steps. Because I heard that when you start out with foul line drills, that's really going to focus on what my throwing arm is doing and how my hand is releasing, and making sure to keep my hand behind and under the equator of the ball. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of days. And for those of you who are still watching through this video, thanks so much for watching. And if you have any suggestions, things that I should be considerate about, how you would order what I'm practicing, that would be great, because this is going to be over 10 minutes of footage if you notice on the video length bar. And yeah, it's just absurd how much I was able to get into the 2 hours of playing. And the way I like to edit my footage is I want to make sure each start you're seeing the very first step all the way to the throw, and kind of seeing a little bit of where the ball ends up. And where the ball ends up, honestly, is the thing that I'm least thinking about. I'm trying to pay as much attention to all the things before the ball gets way down lane. All the things that I can basically control. And it just so happens that I just wanted to make sure I didn't go back to my old ways where my right leg would be raised and just kicked out. I wanted to make sure that I'm getting some decent stability from there. And one thing I've been thinking about is the spine tilt. One of my friends said I should be lower so that I'm not dropping the ball, but rather rolling it. And so I'm not exactly sure if I should be that horizontal with my spine tilt, because from the videos that I've been watching, they have said, don't get too crazy with your spine tilt. And mine is just, it's a very steep spine tilt. So any suggestions that people might have there, I'd love to know, because with the right arm, obviously there's so much going wrong there that I already know that's what I need to focus on, to the point that I'm going to be spending at least several days. And I hope you guys don't mind the fact that I'm just going to be doing foul line 1-step and 3-step drills two-handed, but I need it. One thing that I realized too with this video or today's session, is that I wanted to increase my ball speed. And so you can see I start to get a little bit faster as we get towards the end of the video, because I had been told that if you want ball speed, it comes from your legs. And I was like, basically trying to run to the foul line. So I don't know exactly how correct that is, if I'm losing too much ball speed due to the throwing arm and the fact that it's releasing way too high and way too out to the side. But yeah, any of that stuff would be very helpful. And it looks like we're coming up on 8 minutes here. And I still have 2 more minutes left in the footage. But yeah, I noticed that my sliding foot here towards the end, it really started to stabilize, which is something that I'm happy about. Not super happy because it's not perfect, but given compared to yesterday and how bad all of my footwork was, I think it's a huge improvement. So I'm not going to get too hard on myself on that one thing. And yeah, I like that I'm seeing far more slide going on with that left foot. The angle gets messed up from time to time, but the fact that you can see a bit of a stumble there, but for the most part, okay, that one doesn't count either. But for the most part, yeah, see, there's a little bit of shakiness there, but it does slide. It's pointing way, way messed up, and I lost my balance there. But I think it is much better than where it was at the beginning of the session. But yeah, again, with this really deep spine tilt, because I was trying to go from what my friend told me. He said, yeah, just get really low. And I think his biggest concern was the fact that he doesn't want me to drop the ball. He wants me to roll the ball. And so I think that's where he was getting at. But, and you could see that it actually rolled more so there. So I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts. Am I do I really need to get far lower so that I could get that release much, much closer to the ground without it dropping and losing a lot of energy when it hits the boards? I honestly don't know. So whatever you guys can let me know, would really appreciate it. And we're coming on the last few throws here, and it's going to show the results coming up on the end. So I guess I'll end it here, and yeah, feel free to take a look at the scores. And the scores I'm really not paying that much attention to, but I figured that it might be information that will be a little helpful for all of you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for hanging out, and take care.